Guys, Retro Reviews here again with another video review. This time I'm going back to my Gundams and keeping where I've left off in order on how I've built these. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the MSZ-006 Zeta Gundam from the series Mobile Suit Gundam Zeta and Mobile Suit Gundam Double Zeta. Now, this is Camille Badon's partway through upgrade suit that he gets in the series, and the suit that the series itself is named after. And we'll go ahead and real quick take a look at some of the details here on this kit. Now, the sculpting on... Whoa, okay. There we go. A close up on that head sculpt here and kind of get him standing a little bit straight. There we go. So now, as you can see, the detail on this kit is actually really nice. Starting off with the head, there's really nice channels for some panel lining. The mouth plate is very well done. The front head camera and the eyes are cast in a clear, colorless plastic with the options of stickers. I've went ahead and used a green Sharpie or a blue Sharpie for the head camera, and then green for the eyes with silver behind it. It does kind of get really touchy trying to get that to see in there, but it is there. Vulcans are picked out separately. You got some vents in the back. The back I've actually also done with a blue Sharpie on that. Later on, you'll see later on with some kits, I'll if their cameras are on hard color, not clear plastic, I'll just use the stickers. But at the time when I was building this kit, I actually did use just Sharpie, so it worked out decently well enough for me. Any other details to speak of? We do have the really nice shoulder pads, really nice chest. There's a little bit of a contention that some people have, is that there is some painting that is needed. They do give you stickers, but stickers are garbage. So the yellow pieces on either side of the vent here, as you can see, I need to clean that up and try it again, but those were given as stickers, but I've painted over. Same with the yellow pieces here, and these yellow pieces on the legs. So those are stickers. There's also a couple stickers for the gun, but I'm going to just look over what's on the mobile suit right now. We'll get to the gun later on. Back, I'll go ahead and zoom out now. And as you see, the backpack is really flat, but very big. It actually doesn't really do much for weight. You can angle the tail fin up, and you can also flip out these. We do see the Zeta Gundam doing this a couple times in the anime when the biocomputer is at its limits, I guess, is what you would want to say. And then coming down here, some really nice color separation with the legs. Actually, this blue piece is actually integrated into the inner frame of the kit. Which is kind of cool. And then also we do have these big yellow pieces for the fence are actual separate pieces, which I really like. And then huge, like pretty decent sized feet. And despite what this kit has to do, and despite those little feet, he can stand, at least mine, I can get him to stand really well without anything balancing him. Also, getting the light back in there, we do have the opening cockpit hatch. I'll go ahead and zoom back in here. And you can see a pilot inside there, supposedly Camille Bajan. But the Zeta Gundam was piloted by a few pilots in its life, so Camille being one of them, Jared... Wow, I cannot remember his name from Zeta Gundam, or Double Zeta, but yeah, it's Judo. That's it. Yeah, Judo Ashta or Ruluka, those are just a few of the main pilots of this mobile suit. Now, for size comparisons, this is a approximately 22 meter tall mobile suit, or 20 meter tall mobile suit. So if we were going ahead and bring it up next to the RX-78-2, as you can see, it is a little bit taller. And also you could tell the colors are a little bit more vibrant than the version 2.0 of the RX-78-2. I guess this is supposed to be a lot more animation accurate with the color scheme. And same goes with the Zeta Gundam. It was released a few years later, so they used a lot more deeper hues for the animation models. And then with its predecessor, the RX-178 Gundam Mark II version. Again, this is the version 2.0, and as you can see, I do have him completely decked out with all of his accessories. And they do stand a little bit about the same height. A little bit, the Zeta Gundam is a little bit taller. I guess it is closer to a 22 meter tall mobile suit instead of 20 meters. So, articulation wise, we do have some nice articulation. We got a ball joint in the head, which allows for 360 degree movement, as well as looking up for that far and down that far. We have ball jointed shoulders with an additional butterfly hinge on the inside of the shoulder piece of the chest, as well as a hinge joint in there to go out that far, and then a bicep swivel. And the elbows are kind of weird. So this part of the elbow is built standard, where it's just plugged in up here. But this part of the elbow is actually plugged into the back of the forearm. So it's plugged in right back here. So we do get a little bit of swinging motion from side to side on the elbow, as well as almost a complete 180 degree bend out of the elbow that way. And then this flap can get out of the way as needed. These hands are the traditional trigger finger, 3-finger thumb on ball joints with 90 degrees molded into the hand, or for the fingers. It gives some accessibility, or some stability for weapons, but not the most perfect. We do have a hinge and ball joint in the wrist, as well as another hinge in the hand. Can allow all sorts of movement. There's a bad nub on there that I forgot to clean up. If you'll notice this with some of my older kits, there is, like, I haven't really gotten around to polishing them up compared to how I have built more recent kits, and some of the bad nubs are still prevalent. But anyways, for waist, the back waist armor is fixed, but the front waist is on a ball joint here, and then the side skirt is on a double hinge, so it can get out, do a lot of things to get out of the way. And then hip here is on a swivel, so it can rotate 360 degrees. It could rotate 360 degrees with all of the junk in the way, but then it can also bend out about that far. As you can see, it's not the hinge is not quite centered on there, so it does kind of come out at a weird angle. And then thigh swivel, double joint in the knee, which can get that far normally, or thanks to the transformation, you can also extend out the bottom part of the knee. And get almost a complete 180 degree bend out of the knee joint, which is really nice. And then this flap here is on a, it's actually on a hinge, but it's also pegged in, so it can rotate as well as move up and down. And the foot here is on some weird construction where we do allow for ankle pivot. You can rotate and bend up and down, as well as due to transformation the toe can bend way forward as well. And as you can see, when you do that, some of this construction does kind of come apart. I don't think that's actually supposed to do that. Oh well. It might be able, that might be a feature, but it might just be my kit falling apart. I did build, like, this is July of 2022 as I'm filming this, and I built this around the summer of 2015. I don't remember how long ago it actually, like, it was around that time of year, but I don't exactly remember the month that I did this in. But this, I've had this kit for about 7 years now. Excuse me. Now on to the accessories. As we've gone over the posability, this thing's pretty decent in posability considering what it has to do later. And for accessories, we will start off with the most obvious. We'll start off with the shield. We have a collapsible shield that is actually the Wave Rider's nose cone for the transformation of the Zeta Gundam. And we do have a little bit of some movement in here. We do have this double hinge system, which can allow for it to get in the way, out of the way as much as it needs to, as well as this piece being on a peg, so it could rotate. And then it can slide up to be in full deployment mode. And then this peg, it's a weird kind of peg where it's a rectangle with these two notches on the side, and then this long peg, second rectangle sticking out. Kind of like a T shape, but not really. But it will peg into either forearm. But we're going to hook it up to the left arm here. And that's what the Zeta Gundam looks like with the shield in play. There it goes. Next up, we will take a look at the beam rifle. Now, this is a really nice beam rifle. This is one of my favorite designed beam rifles, actually, in Universal Century. We do have the removable E-Pack, which just slides on and off just like that. Unfortunately, there is no other E-Packs in with this kit, so you can't just remove one and then replace it with another one. To replicate the reloading, you just have to clip the same one back on. And then also, as you can see, this hinge with these pegs can fold up. And for mobile suit mode, that's what this peg is used for. It can actually peg into the forearm for storage when it's not in use, or you can go ahead and fold the handle down, rotate the scope forward, and extend the barrel. And then I usually like to fold this out because it helps keep this piece out of the way. Then you can go ahead and use the peg hole in the handle and line it up with the peg in the hand. And then once that's all said and done, hopefully you can get the Zeta Gundam to hold the gun. Something like this. It does get a little bit weird with the shape of the beam rifle. And also, over time, these pegs can get worn down really bad, so you'll have a little bit, like as the years progress, you'll have a little bit of a harder time getting some of the accessories to work with the mobile suit after, and this is one of the more difficult ones to work with. I feel like if you get it shouldered underneath the arm, that helps stabilize it a lot better. And it is a long beam rifle. Bonus is that in the anime we do see Camille using the beam rifle as a beam saber, and you can do that with the included beam saber blades. You get the SB5 beam sabers, or SB, I don't remember the exact name of these beam sabers, but they are the standard that has been used from like 2005 onwards for 1 to 100 kits. And yeah, again, bad nubs on these things. And you can go ahead and plug that into the barrel. And also, if you want to, you could just use that as an effect, as a blast effect. So it does have that. Also, you do get in both side skirts, you can flip this side up and remove another beam saber handle. And it's just a standard little gray beam saber handle, which will fit in the hand. And I have no problems with beam sabers ever fitting in those pegs because, well, they're so much lighter than a beam rifle, so I just don't seem to have that much of an issue with them. So go ahead and attach the beam saber blade. And that's what the Zeta Gundam looks like holding a beam saber. Then we can go ahead and store that back away. And it stores away, there is a peg sticking out of the skirt piece that just clips into the peg hole for the hand. And trying to get this on camera. There it goes. And that just stores away like that. And thankfully the shield decided to eject itself, because the next weapon that we're going to look at is the well, first we'll look at these. We get 2 of these grenade launcher packs, which are just simple little gray piece that has a few grenades molded on it that gets covered up by this blue cap. And how these work is on either arm, you can actually rotate the arm forward and then fold this panel down to reveal 2 grenades already loaded. But then if you take this grenade pack and plug it into the same spot that we do for the beam rifle and beam saber, or the shield, I mean. So you just plug that in there, and then if you push it forward, you can actually see these 2 grenades push forward as well. And it works the same on both arms. And now for the next accessory we're going to look at the Hyper Mega Launcher that comes with this kit. Now this is upside down, but this is the Zeta Gundam's Hyper Mega Launcher, and it is a beast. And this is actually its collapsed form. To get it deployed out into its battle ready mode, fold down this panel and fold down the handle, extend the barrel, extend this piece up, and then fold out the handguard and rotate out the support handle. And there we have that. And then we just need to get the Zeta Gundam prepped to hold this beast. So get him something like this. And then the trigger handle actually does have another one of those rectangle pegs in the handle. So it's a matter of getting that lined up. And then once that's pegged in, folding the fingers around. And then taking okay. Let's get that rotated. Oop. Yeah, this thing is a pain to deal with, but I like the way it looks once it's all done. So again, let's get that pegged in. And fold the fingers around the handle. And this is one of those weapons that I'm really glad that later sets will use the removable fingers, because it makes it a lot easier to peg together. And hang on, I'm going to get this done off camera. Alright, so I went ahead and got the Hyper Mega Launcher in his hand as best as I could get it. And that's kind of what that looks like that. Yeah, this thing is really nice, but it is also a pain. An absolute pain to try to get in his hands. So there's that. We also do get 2 pilot minifigures. We get a woman pilot and an and an a.e.u.g normal suit. And then we get a traffic control engineer in a normal suit for the Argama. And that is not it for this set. When it comes to accessories, we have one more really big one, really cool one to look at. We have this launchpad display base. Very similar to the RX-78-2 version 2.0's display base. This one does have the feet in it, and if you were to extend it forward, it does push the heels up to get ready to launch it off of the bay. So, you can get the Zeta Gundam stood up. And the footrests, like so. And then you can pose him however you want to get him getting ready to launch. And now that's kind of the reason why we got this air traffic controller minifigure for the base. And now, if you have the RX-78-2 version 2.0, you can utilize the final feature with that base. You get the base that comes with it, and the set of teeth along this side is going to hook up to these teeth here. And that just pegs together like that. And then you can go ahead and place the RX-178 version 2.0 into that base. And now it looks like the Mark II is getting ready, or getting maintenanced, while the Zeta Gundam is getting ready to launch. Now I really, really do like that cross-play compatibility that that these kits do have. And that compatibility does not end there either. We go ahead and remove the Mark II version 2.0's base. And take the Zeta off of this base, and then we can remove the foot piece here, and we can actually come here and take this piece up, and that's an armature for a display stand. And we get two adapters. Start with this one here. This one is specifically for the Mark II version 2.0. So you go ahead and attach it on to there. And now for the Mark II, we will just come back here, take the, if you don't already have this taken off, go ahead and remove it. And then if you look inside there, if you can see with my lighting, there is a peg hole in the back of the Mark II, and that will actually correspond to the base. Adapter for the Zeta Gundam's base. And now you can get the Mark II ready to, or in an aerial pose without any additional help from an action base, because these guys were made before the standard action bases were made, so they don't have a regular dedicated connector like modern master grades do. So that one comes with the stand adapter. And then this stand adapter here is for the Zeta Gundam itself. And as you can see, there's this hinge piece here that will lock into 1, 2, 3, and 4 different positions. And so that will plug in there. And then if you can look underneath, there is a couple areas where that's going to plug in. That's actually backwards. There we go. And so the C-clip is actually going to hook in underneath the front skirt armor piece right here. And then this hook is going to latch into the back of the waist. So it does get a little bit finicky with the when you have the base attached to the connector. But once you get it, then you can slap the Zeta Gundam onto the base. And then you can pose the Zeta Gundam however you need to get him to look like he is in the air. So that is it for the accessories. Now normally, that's where I would be done with this kind of review. Ow. But that is not all the Zeta Gundam can do. If you couldn't tell already by its design, that this Gundam is a transformable mobile suit. And this is actually in universe the first Gundam that was actually a transformable Gundam. So, and me being, if you have watched my channel for the 11 years that it's been active, should know that I am a Transformers fan first and foremost. So having a Gundam like this that transforms puts it really, really high on my list of all-time favorite Gundams. So once I could get him stood up. Now, I will go ahead and take him off camera right now to do the transformation. So, because this video is going to be extremely long, I'll make a separate video with the transformation because the transformation is insane. And I feel like the best way I can do this figure justice is by separating out the transformation from the rest of the review. So, go ahead and take him off, and then we'll get him transformed. Okay, so now I've got it into its Wave Rider mode. As you can see, very, very nice. It looks exactly like it does as in the anime. We do have some more decals back here that are more visible now since they are on the back of the skirt armor. Got some egregious nubs here again. Doesn't really get to do much in this mode. You can still open up the cockpit hatch. We can get a little bit better look at Camille inside there. And you can also go ahead and, I'll go ahead and set him down real quick. I'm going to go ahead and bring out the display base from before. And now we'll take this section here, and then we can turn it around. And then take this section here, and we'll unpeg it from this piece, and then peg it back here. So now, when we're messing with the angles of this, we can have it a little bit more lowered down for a flight stance. Nope, it is still this way. My bad. So, let's go ahead and unpeg that one and peg it all the way down here. And then just like before, the front piece has the bar for the C clip, and then this piece will just snugly go up there and kind of clip in. So like that. And it's still at a little bit of an upward angle. Now, for the going back to the accessories, if we were to take the beam rifle and collapse everything back down into this configuration, leaving this peg out, there is a peg hole. I've got a hair floating around, but there is a peg hole right here on the back of the Zeta Gundam that do not hold by the e-pack. Can clip the beam rifle onto, so now it can have some primary fire capabilities. Also, you can rotate out the beam saber storage units and use the beam sabers as weapons too. I guess I'll leave that on for now. Also, for the Hyper Mega launcher, there is a way to connect it on to. Now, if you see here, by folding out this peg, you do really reveal that. And the only way that will work, if you come under here, underneath the Zeta Gundam, we'll need to remove it from the stand here. But, okay, we'll take that off now since it wants to come off. But if you come under here, and you take this piece off of the shield, it'll reveal a peg hole right there. So you take this clip here and this peg right here and line everything up. I said line everything up. Having a little bit of trouble getting that to connect, but once you get everything lined up the way it's supposed to, then it would be nice if it would cooperate on camera. There we go. So once you have it all lined up, that's what that will look like with the Hyper Mega launcher attached underneath. And if you really want to kind of help complete the functionality of the Zeta Gundam in its Wave Rider mode, I've already tested this once, so I actually didn't have any problems with it. So if you bring in, like, say, the Mark II, you can have him mounted on top of the Zeta Gundam. And this time, of course, the stand doesn't want to support the weight. But you can also, yeah, you can have him mounted on there, kind of in a kneeling pose, to replicate scenes like when the Mark II used the Zeta Gundam to re-enter Earth's atmosphere. So, well, that just about does it for the Zeta Gundam review. Now, yeah, I know this was a long one, but there was a lot to cover in this set. If you haven't checked it out, I would also recommend checking out the transformation video that I posted separately about this kit, due to the fact that the transformation on this particular kit is absolutely insane, and I feel like I would not be able to do it any justice if I just skimmed over it. So, that being said, this is quite possibly the best iteration of the Zeta Gundam. Albeit, I have the perfect grade, and that's the only other version of the Zeta Gundam that I have. I haven't gotten my chance to play with the real grade or the high grade, the new high grade Universal Century. Those look good, but due to the fact that the real grade is an older style real grade that I've heard so many people complain of being very fiddly and will fall apart if not handled correctly. And then the high grade just being a parts former because it's a high grade. Those things being said, the Master Grade Zeta Gundam 2.0 specifically is quite possibly the best version all around. It does the transformation without any compromise. It's fully posable without compromising for the transformation. The detail on it is really good. The decals they could be better, but they are 2005 era dry transfer and sticker decals, so there is some edges on the stickers that are starting to come up over time. And also, some of the detail could be a little bit better. As I mentioned, there is several yellow parts on this set that required painting because it had color correcting stickers, and I hate color correct stickers, so I refuse to use them as much as possible. So if you are in the market of getting a Zeta Gundam that looks like it does in the animation, I would highly recommend picking this one up. It looks almost exactly like the animation model. It still transforms without any compromise. It's fully posable. The accessories are great, and all things considered, this is a great set. Like, I think when I bought this, it was around $65, but I know, given the time of recording, that there's a bunch of real world issues going on. I would say ballpark range for this set, I wouldn't pay anything more than, like, top ballpark $70-$80 US. But like I said, around 65 is ballpark where I would consider picking this set up. So if you can find it for that price or anything cheaper, I would definitely recommend it. That's about it. That's all I have to really say. So yeah, Zeta Gundam, big thumbs up for me. I hope you guys like this video review, and I will keep bringing some more Gundams out to look at, since I'm in the process of potentially moving here. So, and I don't really know what other lines of Transformers that I want to go over. So we're doing Gundams. And also, apparently, my algorithm likes those more. So, hope you guys like this video review. If you do, leave a like, comment if you want to, or just subscribe. Do all that fun stuff to let me know that you enjoyed this video, and supporting my channel and keeping things going. And I will see you next time. Bye.